You can create and send professional proposals and customer orders directly from your job budget in JobTread. To do so, you're going to want to navigate up to your plus document button. And once here, we're going to decide what type of document that we'd like to create. We've given you 3 templated customer order documents to select from. We've given you your change order document, your proposal document, and your selections document. But you can create your own job document templates for your customer orders within your document settings in your organization settings. But here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a job proposal document because we're looking for a signature from our client for the work that we have put together in our budget. Before we send out our job proposal, we're going to decide how we'd like for our items to be laid out and what items we'd like to be included on this job document. By default, all of the items that we have not previously sent on a customer order will show up in this document, and then we can make some selections about what we do and don't want to show before we go about sending it. We can also make some decisions about how we'd like for them to be organized, our cost items. We can do them by allowance, cost group, cost code, cost type, item name, or no group at all. We're going to go ahead and keep them into the groups that we've set up within our budget, these different cost groups. And we'll go down here to create. And now we are ready to further tailor this document to make it look exactly how we want it to look. First of all, we can give it a subject, which is going to be helpful within the context of all of the other job documents for this specific job for us to isolate what is happening on this job document. So we're going to say that this is the kitchen remodel proposal. And then we have the ability all throughout this document to click and change any of the information that we'd like to. We can edit any of the prepared by and for information. We could come back and we could edit any of the scope of work for this document. We can edit any of the item details as well as the descriptions. We can edit any of the cost group headers. And we can even click into any of these items and add further pictures if we'd like to. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And if we'd like to edit more than one item at a time, we can click Edit Item Details, and we can go behind the scenes of this document, and we can choose to see or hide specific information on that document as we have need or desire. We also have the ability to mass edit items by selecting any collection of cost items or groups and then selecting what action we'd like to take on those specific groups or items. So we'll close that out, and we will close that out and go back to our document. And now we're going to show you how you can edit some of the visibility settings within this document. All of your files will be shown or hidden based on this icon here. By clicking Hide Line Item Files, you can hide all of the pictures or PDFs or any other files associated with your cost items, or you can choose to show them. If you'd like to hide your quantity and unit price, you can do so by clicking on that icon. If you'd like to hide all of the sub-item totals, you can do so here, or you can choose to hide all of the line item totals, just giving you all of the scope of work and detail information as well as your total. If you're a cost plus job and you'd like to notate that and show the breakdown of the cost and fee underneath your options, you can toggle on that. And now when you go look at your total, you'll see that cost and fee breakdown there. As you navigate down, you'll see all of your terms and conditions here that you can template in your own document, or you can reach out to one of our marketplace partners to get you that language if you're looking for it. And then beneath that, you'll see your signature field where you can collect a signature to make this a legally binding document. So let's go ahead and click Save. And then if we navigate up to the top, we can see that we have some other options just beneath our subject line. We can select the visibility options, which will enable us to show all of the items details for each cost item, or we can see everything at the top level, which is our cost group level here on this budget, or we can choose to show no information at all for this document, and we can just send out the price that we need a signature for. We're going to go ahead and select all. If we'd like to tie this document into an allowance cost item, we can do so by selecting which cost item in this allowance cost item search field, tying this document to that specific allowance cost item. Then, if we move right to the right of our Details tab, we can see we have a Design tab, which enables us to utilize the cover page image that we might have uploaded as soon as we created this job. By doing so, you'll have 4 options for different cover pages that you can use as you send out your job documents. Okay, Everything beneath that cover page does not change based on all of the settings and selections that you've made as you designed this specific document. To the right of the Design tab, you have your payment schedule. Your payment schedule will allow you to create automatic draft invoices tied to approval of a specific document or tied to the completion of specific tasks. You'll begin by selecting whether or not you'd like to show the payment schedule on this specific job document or not. You'll toggle that on or off, and then you'll select what kind of invoices that you'd like to create. You can select from the drop-down either deposit, invoice, or progress invoice. So we'll go ahead and select deposit. We will call it deposit. And then you can select what of the remaining balance you'd like to collect. You can collect all of the remaining balance, you can collect a specific amount or a percentage. So for this deposit, let's go ahead and collect $5,000. And then you're going to toggle whether or not you want to send this specific invoice upon approval of the document that you're getting ready to send. So we'll go ahead and toggle that on. And let's go ahead and create a couple more milestones for us to create invoices for. We will call this Progress Invoice 1. We'll make this a progress invoice, and we'll do a percentage of what is left to collect. We'll say 15%. And then we can trigger this invoice to be tied to a specific completion of a specific task within our schedule. So let's come up here and let's tie it to this collect progress invoice. Okay? And then we can create a new invoice for the next progress. And we will call this a progress invoice. We'll give another percentage. All right, we will collect a further 15% and we will tie it to our next collect progress invoice task on our schedule. And then we will add one more, invoice 3. So you can see how easy this is by tying these specific invoices in to specific tasks with whatever percentage breakdown that you'd like. We'll tie it to this next collect progress invoice. And then for our last invoice, we will call this final invoice. Okay, and we'll call this a progress. We'll just call it an invoice. And we'll get the remaining balance of the project, and we'll scroll down to the bottom. All right. Collect final invoice. Okay. And so whatever remaining balance we have will be collected on that final invoice. So now we'll click Save. And if we now scroll down to the bottom of this proposal document, we can see that that payment schedule is available for them to see upon signing of this job proposal document. Once we're ready to send out this job document, we're going to navigate up to the top. We'll go back to our details, make sure that we've got all of the information filled out that we'd like. We can add any more files that we'd like to this specific job proposal document. You can even add the recipients here if you'd like to. We'll add them here. And then we're ready to send our document. Once we're ready to send, you're going to click on this paper airplane icon where it says send. It will ask you if you want to include any more recipients. It'll give you the ability to type in an email message. Thank you for considering us for this job. We look forward to hearing back from you soon. All right, we're going to send out our job proposal document. And now this document has been switched into pending status, okay? And so we can see, because we gave fake emails, that these emails bounced for this specific job document. If we need to resend these documents for any reason, we can do so by clicking that paper airplane to the right of their name. And if we'd like to see what the document looks like from their vantage point as they receive that magic link in their email, where they don't have to create a login or add a password, they will have direct access to this document and subsequently to this job more broadly based on the preferences and settings that you set up for the specific person. We can preview what they can see when they get that document as the user by clicking on the three dots to the right of that paper airplane and preview it as user. And then you can see everything that they can see, including the other tabs. So we're going to exit that preview. And we're going to show you that we now have a paper trail for this specific document, showing us when the document was created, what the email message to that customer was, and we can see that it's bounced. You'll also be able to see whether or not they've opened that or if they've signed it. So let's go ahead and sign it as the customer and see what that looks like. So we're going to navigate down to the bottom. We're going to give it a signature and we will approve it. You'll now see, based on the payment schedule that we set up, we've also got the ability to review the invoice that we created based on our milestones. So this first document is that deposit document. Okay, you can see that we've got that deposit document. And if we've talked to our customer and received a payment, we can go ahead and record a payment if we'd like. We can save it. And if we go back into our documents, you can see all of the other progress invoices ready for us to send just as soon as we hit those specific milestones in our budget on our schedules. But let's go ahead and go back to our proposal and we'll navigate to the bottom so that you can see the paper trail that we have now got signatures from both Father B, Mama B, and that we've got this approved job document that we can go view in our budget. But first I wanted to show you those time and date stamps here. And now if we navigate back up into our budget, you can see, as we expand these items, we now have approved numbers in our job costing section for us to start tracking our expenses against. If you'd like to make changes to any of the documents that you've already created, you go back into your Documents tab, you click on this proposal, and then you'll go up to Make Changes. Now, once you click on Make Changes, it's going to give you this banner notifying you that making changes to this document will send it back into pending status. You can choose whether or not you'd like to delete the associated draft documents tied to this specific document that you're making changes to. You can choose to remove access to any of the people that you've given access to this document. And once you're ready to make those changes, you can click Update. This document has now been moved back into draft state, where all document details and cost items can be edited at your discretion. Now, it's important to remember that you're going to need to recollect any signatures that were required for approval for this specific job document. You can do this by sending this document out once more. Now, if you don't wish to remove any signatures or approvals that were made on a specific document, you're going to select the document that you would like to make changes to, and you can instead choose to click the three-dot menu, and you can clone that document and make changes to a cloned, copied version of that existing document. You'll want to be sure to decline the initial document so that you don't add double the amount of items to your budget. If you have any other questions about creating customer orders or proposals, reach out to your customer success manager, or you can email us for support at JobTread.com.